Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Monday, the 31st of May. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host this morning. In the news today, we'll catch up on the NRL results from the weekend, from yesterday, also in the rugby, we had the Highlanders playing the Rebels at home in Sydney. Yes, if that makes sense. The A-League, NBA, NBL and Sal's NBL, so football and basketball news. We had the final stage of the Giro d'Italia, a time trial in Milan. As well in the golf, we've got the PGA and the European Tour, where we've got Kiwis in action in both of those tournaments. Also, the New Zealand and Australian sides are playing hockey in both the men's and the women's league, women's at the yesterday as well, in the third of their four-round tournament. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And I forgot to mention, we'll also be talking about Indycar as well, because it is the 105th running of that. That is currently about 3/4 of the way through. It's happening right as we speak. Unfortunately, both Dixon and McLaughlin have had issues with the pits, in the pits, that have put them, they're running one lap down, so around about sort of 20th and 24th. Obviously, it's changing at the moment. As I say, it's live as we speak. So it's disappointing that those two are struggling in that one. But we'll bring you up to speed with how they go, how they've finished tomorrow morning, as I say, down in 24th and 28th place, currently at the moment, with them about just over 30 laps to go in that one. Moving on then to the hockey, and in the hockey, I say it's the third game between the New Zealand and Australia being held down in Palmerston North there. In the men's one, the Kookaburras jumped out to a lead with the goals in the 7th and 8th minutes before the Black Sticks pull it back to 3-2 at half time. In the end, though, the Kookaburras dominated the second half, getting just a single goal to win the game 4-2 in that one. Currently leading that series 3-0 now. On the women's side, the Hockeyroos also jumped out to an early lead with a goal on 7 minutes, but the Black Sticks pulled it back to 1-1 at half time and took the lead on 41 minutes, only for it to be all evened up on 58 and to finish with their third draw in this series. So another draw between the women's teams. The final match of the series are on Tuesday evening at 5:30 for the women and 7:30 p.m. for the men in that one. Over in the Giro d'Italia, and on the final stage, so it was a time trial, the pre-stage favourite, Filippo Ganna, the Italian, won the stage, but it wasn't without incident. He had a puncture and had to swap his bike. Remy Cavagna, who was his closest challenger, also had a crash and had to get back up as well himself. So Remy Cavagna finished 12 seconds behind Ganna in that one. There for Deutsche Quick-Step, so Ineos Grenadiers taking that one. Overall, though, and no change at the top, with Egan Bernal winning the race for Ineos Grenadiers, 1 minute and 29 seconds ahead of Damian Caruso of Bahrain, victorious in that one. So Caruso closing the gap by 30 seconds in the final time trial, but not enough to win it. Fantastic result for Caruso, who came in as a super domestique, but when his leader crashed out, got the opportunity himself. Finished second. Simon Yates finished third for Team Bike Exchange at 4 minutes 15 seconds further back. That completes the first Grand Tour of the year. We saw the Tour de France and the Vuelta a España later in the year to go in the cycling. Moving on to the basketball then, and over in the Sal's NBL, we had 2 games yesterday with the Canterbury Rams seeing off the Hawke's Bay Hawks 87-79. That's back-to-back losses for the Hawks this weekend, which is a bit of a surprise. They've been one of the form teams coming into this weekend in the Sal's NBL. The Manitou Jets also were down by the Southland Sharks 88-100. Much less of a surprise there. The Jets have been struggling this year with just the 1 win so far over the Taranaki Mountaineers. Over in the NBL, for the Australian version of it, the Hawks saw off the 36ers 97-83, and the Breakers took on the Bullets at a full house in Spark Arena up in Auckland there. Unfortunately for them, it wasn't the result they were looking for. The Bullets went out to a lead in the first quarter, a 6-point lead in the first quarter, and they just built on that in the second and then just held off the Breakers in the second half, winning that one 95-83, a win for the Bullets there. The Breakers had a tough season, obviously been on the road and been living over in Australia for much of the season. They were led by Levy Randolph, who scored 30 points, but obviously it wasn't enough as the Lamar Patterson led his Bullets with 21 points to the win in that one. Over in the NBA and its finals time, over there, the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Miami Heat 120-103 to sweep the series 4-0. They're the first team to go through to the second round of the playoffs. The Trailblazers beat the Nuggets 115-95 to tie that series at 2-2. So it looks like that one's going all the way between the Trailblazers and the Nuggets. The 76ers took a 3-0 lead over the Wizards, 132-103. So they could be the next team to get through and could also sweep in the opening series. And finally, the Jazz beat the Grizzlies 121-111 to take a 2-1 lead in that one. So that was tight as well. As we speak, the Hawks and the Knicks are playing. The Hawks leading that one 97-74 in the fourth quarter, on track to take a 3-1 lead in that series. Obviously, join us at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for all the basketball news on the morning sports briefing, where we'll keep bringing up to date with all of those, and also that Indycar result and all the other sports news as well. Over in the NRL, we had 2 games yesterday as the Sharks beat the Titans 38-10, a comfortable win there, and the Knights saw off the Sea Eagles 18-10 in that one. Do join the standoff show on 8 p.m. on Wednesday, where they'll go through all of the games from round 12 of the week 12 of the competition, as well as preview week 13 as well for that one. Moving on then, and in the A-League, and I've not got the results up of that one. Sorry, folks. Just realised that I haven't brought up the A-League results. Obviously, the big one there was the result we talked about yesterday, which was the Phoenix one in their draw, which meant that it was that hurt their chances of making the finals in that one. Oh no, sorry, we haven't reported that happened. Sorry, the Wellington Phoenix played Perth Glory and had a 2-2 draw yesterday. Sorry, I thought it was a game on Saturday. It wasn't. It was on Sunday. That hurts their chances of making the finals. And now they really need MacArthur FC to lose their game against Western United today. Western United out of the playoffs, so they really look at the hopes. So the Wellington Phoenix really looking for a favour from Western United in that one. Western Sydney Wanderers took a 2-0 win over Brisbane Roar. In that one, seeing the Western Sydney Wanderers are now 2 points, one place behind the Wellington Phoenix, 2 points off the finals. I don't think they can make it into there with just one game to go. So all eyes on that West United versus MacArthur FC tonight, because MacArthur FC will be playing or facing the Wellington Phoenix in the final game of the season, or the regular season, which may be a decider as to who gets a finals place. Over in the rugby, and due to COVID, the Melbourne Rebels were not allowed to travel across to New Zealand, as the travel bubble was suspended for the which I forgot for which state it is that they're in, but the game had to be relocated from Queenstown to Sydney, and the Highlanders over there jumped out to a 14-0 lead. But to give the Rebels their credit, they clawed their way back in. So they were just to be trailing 14-12 at half-time. They took the lead early in the second half, with a penalty for a 1 point lead. But a yellow card to Ulesi really opened the opportunity for the Highlanders, who scored 3 tries in that time. Well, got a penalty try and 2 more tries in that time to pull out a big lead and win the game 42-27 in that one. Missing out on the bonus point, which could be all important come final time. You can get a roundup of all of the round action from the Trans-Tasman, from Super Rugby Trans-Tasman from last night. It's available as a podcast, or you can watch the video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You have now started the day. Sorry, I've not touched on the golf, have I? And which is really remiss of me, because Josh Geary went really well in the Made in Denmark tournament over there on the European Tour. Weisberger finished at 21 under par to win the tournament from Austria, but Josh Geary was tied at 6th place, 14 under par, so 7 shots back on Weisberg, but tied 6th place. A fantastic result for Josh Gurney there over in the Made in Denmark tournament. Danny Lee is in action at the Charles Schwab Challenge over in the States. Now, the 4th round is live there. Spaeth currently leads at 15 under par. Danny Lee is down in tied at 34th place, 3 under par there. Has made the cut this weekend, which is good to see. So a decent tournament for Danny Lee over in the States. You've now started the day the best way to be with all the important sports news. Hope you have a great start to the week, folks. And I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with the morning sports briefing.